Well, I first became known of this site, which is known as Kilmahomog, about 10, 12 years ago. I read a piece by Dr. Frank McCory, a Lurgan historian, and he had written that this was the site of an ancient graveyard and possibly a church site. And it was a tradition which was kept alive by the McConville family, who have farmed this land for a considerable amount of time. And the detail that sort of all stuck in my head was that the graveyard went out of use when they built the railway line, which you can see just over there, and they couldn't actually carry the coffins over the railway line, and I couldn't quite visualise it. And then when you actually come and see it, okay, you can see why it'd be a bit of a problem getting a coffin over the top. But that detail stuck in my head, and I always thought it'd be great to come and see, is there a graveyard, is there a church site here? And last year, actually, in a tour in actually the Donagh graveyard, I came across Fanula, and I knew Fanula, but I didn't realise Fanula actually owned this field. And we sort of said, well, would you mind if we come and do a bit of survey work to see if there is anything? And as it happened, we'd got a grant from the Department for Communities, Historic Environment Division, for a radar survey. So Alistair Ruffle came down in March with his team from Queen's. They'd done a radar survey. Didn't find graves, but they did find a stone feature. And of course, immediately it clicks in your head, is this a church? It could be. It was worth digging up. And so thanks to the funding through the Townscape Scheme and the National Archaeological Heritage Fund and the Armagh City Banbridge Borough Council, we were able to organise this dig, which has been taking place over the last week. Which has been facilitated by Stuart Alexander and Katie McNaughton of the Northern Archeological Consultancy.
So we've been working on this field, which is called Kilmacallum, which translates as Church of My Little Coleman. So there's a local tradition here of a church in the area that we think maybe dates to the early medieval period. We've been digging, we've came down on rocks, we found a collapsed souterrain, we found potentially evidence of structures, we've got subsoil cut features, and we picked up coarse pottery.
So a souterrain is what, for those who are
souterrain is a sort of underground chamber, so it is. It dates to about 700 AD to around about 1000 AD.
So there'd be burials here, or just a building?
Well, there's a tradition of a burial ground in here, but we haven't found any burials in here. So
yeah, just to give reference to the people elsewhere, we're about, I suppose we're about 2.5, 3 miles from Lurgan. We're towards Ahagallon. That's where we are.
Yeah. Well, souterrains are a fairly common feature found throughout the country, but this one here has obviously been unheard of. There was a geophysical analysis done of this field because there is a local tradition of potentially an early church or graveyard. Therefore, the geophysical analysis was done.
And as well as that, there's evidence of a building, all early medieval in date, so exactly the sort of date range that we would be looking for a church site. Is it a church? We don't know. I have to say that we've absolutely zoomed through it the past 5 days because we've been joined by over 70 volunteers, from locals to professionals to retired professionals to young people. And they've been absolutely fantastic.
Did that surprise you, David, the amount of interest? Because I was watching from afar and seeing the postings of people turning up and in their droves almost. Was that a surprise?
Yeah, well, actually, when we advertised it, I was dubious if we get anybody, to be honest. You never know how these things will work. And we had over 130 people get in touch. And of course, we had to limit the number of people who come in the morning and the afternoon because we wanted to make sure everyone got a good chance to have a go at proper archaeology. So yeah, I mean, it was really good, and people turned up. I mean, Monday morning and Friday morning here today, it was pretty wet, miserable, but yet people turned up, got stuck in, didn't let the weather bother them. We had great weather the rest of the time, and the atmosphere has been really, really good. Everyone's been getting on. I mean, obviously you might have talked to the volunteers themselves, but just talking to people myself, everyone seemed to have had a good time.
So about this site, I heard that there was advertisement online, Facebook really, and few friends were just telling about it. So I thought, why not to try? At that point I thought it might be a little bit too late, but whenever I contact David, he said he's happy with me to join in. So that was the best what would happen to me.
And what's the experience been like? I can see your gloves in hand here. You've been using those all week. It's kind of getting in the muck and the dirt, and there was muck and dirt earlier, we understand.
Yes.
What was the experience like for you?
So obviously I'm archaeologist myself. I wasn't working in archaeology for 14 years now, so that's how long I didn't have anything to do with it. And to tell the truth, I was really missing it. So that whenever that opportunity came along, it was the dream coming true, again. So I was saying that if you once archaeologist, you are always archaeologist, and it's always stay in your heart. So it was great.
Even if it didn't find anything, it would have been worth it. Just just because of the positive outcome. But the fact we've actually found something as well is brilliant. But great to have another week. But we're finishing up today. But I think we'll be coming back next year to do a longer dig to find out what exactly this building is. Is it a church?
The extension of that is, yes, coming back. We understand that you found something to go with. What about the movable feast, the time team going somewhere else, or is that too far ahead for you to think about?
Well, I suppose it's one side at a time. I mean, there's lots of potential archaeological sites throughout the area, and of course, but you need a lot of things to go with you. We've been blessed by Fanula and McConnells and Mulhollands here. They have been a dream to work with. Opening up their land to us. They've brought water down for everybody. They're even clearing branches up the lane to make sure cars weren't being scratched when they were driving up. So you need landowners. You need a proper site. Everything here came together from the McConvilles keeping this story alive, that this was a field, the field name alive. The field name actually means field of my little, or church of my little Coleman, after St. Coleman. So they kept that alive. It was picked up by Frank McCory and the late Kieran Clendenin, who wrote about it. We Alistair down to confirm there was something, and with the archaeologist down to confirm, yes, this is an early Middle. So you need a lot of stuff to come together. You need the finance, which thanks to the lottery and the council we were able to get, and you need the volunteers too. And we had a great group of volunteers to come and help us. So yeah, I mean, we'll be back here next year, but who knows? We could look at other sites, and there's other groups out there. It's community archaeology, and community groups, get on the historic map here, and go and find the sites, and put together a project. There's nothing stopping you.